Dynamite begins outside the arena. A stretch limo pulls up. Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, step out, and then Kenny Omega. Kenny creates space for Don Callis, who is out last. Kenny shakes hands with Don, he hugs him, and they begin to walk towards the arena when they bump into Alex Marvez, who goes on to say, "That's quite the entrance, gentlemen." Kenny goes to reply, but Callis steps in instead, and he says, "Of course it is, Marvez. An entrance fit for a future world champion." "Don, I guess welcome to AEW. What brings you here?" "It's pretty obvious, Marvez. Kenny and I go way back. 30 years we've known each other. He made the call and asked me to be by his side to witness the changing of the guard, the crowning of a new champion here in AEW, a double or nothing. Whatever Kenny wants, I want you to know I'll be there for you, Ken." Kenny looks at Callis with respect, then turns to Marvez and says, "Now get out of the way, Marvez. I've got a contract to sign." As they all walk into the arena, so we start the show with a 71. It's a great start. Let's crack on with Dynamite. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. AEW Dynamite is live and on the air. What an interesting way to get things started here tonight, having Kenny Omega arrive in a stretch limo, along with not only the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers, but also Don Callis. Without a doubt, JR, it'll be interesting to see what sort of involvement, what sort of impact, no pun intended, Callis will have for Kenny Omega. Speaking of which, Kenny Omega makes his championship match against Moxley official tonight as he signs the contract. Our main event involves the Elite also, as the Good Brothers will face the Lucha Brothers after they came to blows last week. And also, both men and women's casino ladder match qualifiers continue, and we're also due to receive an update on the condition of Arn Anderson after he was brutally assaulted last week by Miro, and lots more. So let's get on with the show. Let's take it to the ring, and we get a 61 for this segment in front of 8,219 fans. So let's take a look at tonight's card. Then we're going to hear from Le Champion Chris Jericho, and speaking of the Inner Circle, Sammy Guevara will return to in-ring action tonight. Also, the men's casino ladder match qualifier will be Jeff Hardy against Scorpio Sky. The women's casino ladder match qualifier will be Ali against Allysin Kay. And there is the main event, Lucha Brothers against the Good Brothers. But we also have the AEW World Championship contract signing between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley to look forward to after Kenny Omega overcame MJF in the World Title Eliminate Tournament last week. So moving on then, we see Salina De La Renta walk out and stand at the top of the entranceway with a mic as she goes on to say, "I am Salina De La Renta, and I am owner of Diamond Promotions. And as of tonight, Santana and Ortiz are officially members. To celebrate, I offer them a chance to rip apart a tag team highly thought of by fans worldwide. A team that have been successful everywhere they have been. The Motor City Machine Guns." Santana and Ortiz finally make their entrance, focused as ever. What a way to open Dynamite. It's our first match of the evening, and it is a decent match. And of course, with the managerial experience and being in their corner, it is proud and powerful. It is Santana and Ortiz that go over. They beat the Motor City Machine Guns in 16 minutes 37 after Santana pinned Chris Sabin. Santana's in-ring performance and Ortiz's certainly improving a hell of a lot since we started this save. Well, after the match, Selena points at Shelley and Sabin. Santana and Ortiz make an example of them. They beat them down, hitting their finishes on them once again. Selena steps into the ring laughing with a mic. "You boys are going straight to the top. And it's only a matter of time before those tag team championships are around your waist, so we make lots and lots and lots of money." As she continues to laugh as they exit. So she's doing a really good job at the moment. Really happy with the road agent report with Selena. Then we see Jericho staring at the monitor watching Santana and Ortiz, and Marvez goes on to say, "With me at this time, Chris Jericho. Last week, Chris, your former protege, Sammy Guevara, attacked you with his crutch. He then proceeded to spit on you as an ultimate show of disrespect. Any words?" "You know, Marvez, you're actually right this time. I'm glad you can see it was a show of disrespect. When you think of everything I've done for Sammy and the other members of Inner Circle, and this is how I'm treated. For 30 plus years I've done nothing but work my ass off. I've been all over the world 365 days a year, and this is how I'm treated, as though I'm in the winter of my career, as though come Double or Nothing, that's it, it's over, finito. I'm Chris Jericho, for God's sake. If I want another title run, I'll get it. Who does this jumped up kid think he is? I gave you all, Sammy. I gave you a spot on national television, and this is how you treat me? You spit on me? I'm going to beat some respect into you, punk." Chris Jericho storms off. So things certainly heating up now between Le Champion, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara, after Guevara did use that crutch to attack Chris Jericho last week in the ring. Then we move on to Darby Allin, who is backstage. He seems on a mission. He pushes over some backstage workers, kicks a mop and bucket over. He nudges Matt Hardy, who is making his way towards Gorilla. He faces Darby and says, "Hey, what the hell?" Darby stops and stares at him, and Matt continues, "Hey, Darby, what's going on? This ain't like you. I know it was you last week that attacked Matt Sydal. Is this because of what Kenny, Doc and Cole did to you the other week?" Darby continues to stare at Matt, who finishes with, "Listen, I'm sure you'll get your chance at a little payback, maybe even a little more. Hey, maybe you can try for the casino ladder match, but you can't keep this up. You won't get this far in the business doing this. Who do you think you are, Saint Darby?" Darby shoves Matt Hardy as hard as he can, knocking him against the wall. He storms off. Matt Hardy looks pissed. So we find out that it was Darby Allin that attacked Matt Sydal last week, caused all that carnage backstage. As we roll into our next match then, the men's casino ladder match qualifier, and it is Jeff Hardy that defeats Scorpio Sky in 11:52 after a swanton bomb. Couldn't miss the chance here. Jeff Hardy in the men's casino ladder match, in a ladder match. It's just going to happen. It's what he's known for, being in a ladder match, and he needs to do something like that here in AEW. Well, after the match, Matt Hardy climbs into the ring, still holding his back after that shove from Darby Allin before. He joins his brother Jeff as he celebrates his win and booking his spot in the men's casino ladder match at Double or Nothing in just a few weeks' time. Scorpio Sky, though, is leaning in the corner of the ring. He's breathing deep. He shakes his head, kicks the bottom of the rope out of frustration, and then exits with his hands on his hips as we get a 73 for this segment. What does this mean? Scorpio Sky not too happy at the moment. He's on a bit of a losing streak. Footage is then shown from earlier today outside the hospital Arn was admitted into last week. Cody Rhodes walks out alongside his wife, Brandy Rhodes. The cameraman interviewer, a bit like TMZ, asks him a few questions. "Cody, how is Arn? Can we get an update?" The good news is, Arn is going to be okay. Last week, Arn was severely beaten at the hands of a monster. Several lacerations to the head and the trauma have caused quite the concussion. Miro's actions last week are unforgivable. You've pissed a lot of people off, Miro, including TNT executives. After all, you're supposed to be the face of the network. If it was up to them, you'd be gone now. Whereas me and Tony Khan managed to talk them out of making such a rash decision. My match at Double or Nothing against you, Miro, is still on, but me and Tony agreed on one condition. If I win, Miro, you will be suspended for 120 days without pay. You made it personal last week, attacking Arn. Let me make it personal now and take away your money. So we get an update on Arn. He's going to be okay, thankfully. But Cody Rhodes saying that the match is still on. If it wasn't for Cody and Tony Khan stepping in, TNT would have cut Miro completely from their network. The next match of the evening is Sammy Guevara's in-ring return, and it is against Ricky Starks. He does have a good relationship with him in real life, good friendship, and it's Sammy Guevara that defeats Ricky Starks in 11:14 after a 6:30, and it is a decent match. It gets a 63, really happy with that, and Sammy Guevara's in-ring performance of 72. Ricky Starks seems to be improving, even though I haven't featured him that much in this save, although you can expect to see more of Ricky Starks very soon. After the match, Sammy Guevara helps Starks to his feet, shakes hands with him. Starks seems a little dazed and confused over this, but accepts it nonetheless. Taz is on the outside with a stern face. Sammy exits the ring and heads to the back. The cameras follow him through Gorilla. There are a bunch of backstage staff huddled together talking. Then out of nowhere, one of them attacks Sammy wearing a hoodie. It's Chris Jericho. He grabs Sammy and throws him into a catering table before security and referees drag Jericho away. Sammy looks pissed with pizza, cola, whatever, all draining down him. Then footage is shown, taken from last week backstage at Dynamite, after the three, Hangman, Dax and Cash, were attacked by Private Party. Tully Blanchard is there trying to calm them down, and Dax turns to the camera saying, "You boys are Private Party, it's time to fucking man up. In 2 weeks' time, all of us will be waiting inside that ring. Don't be fucking cowards now." Dax and Cash look to Paige. "And what about you, with the Bucks?" Paige replies, "You boys need to understand, I ain't going anywhere. Matt and Nick, they're just trying to get into your head before your title defense against them. I know them, and I ain't going down that road again. Good. We need to watch each other's backs. Things are going to get a little crazy around here." They all put their hands in and walk off. So we get a pretty disappointing 64 from this segment rating. Was expecting it to at least be a 70, 71, round about that sort of mark. But unfortunately, that's not the case. As we roll into our next match, it's the Women's Casino Ladder Match qualifier between Allie and Allysin Kay, two good friends in real life. I think they teamed up quite a few times as well in Impact a few years ago, and it is Allie that goes over, defeats Allysin Kay in 9 minutes after a sit-out face buster following interference by The Blade. After the match, as Ali celebrates her win with Butcher and Blade, Dr. Britt Baker walks to the ring, grabs a mic and looks to say something, but notices Allysin Kay still laying there. Britt turns to Kay and attacks her, beats her down and then puts her into the lockjaw. Referees flood the ring, wanting her to break the hold, but she holds on. Allysin Kay passes out because of holding on to that nerve, as they always try to sell with Britt Baker's lockjaw. Toni Storm then races out and pulls Britt Baker off Allysin. Both come head to head. Storm throws the first punch. Britt doesn't back down and retaliates. It becomes like the Wild West. Referees, security finally pulling them apart. Britt Baker is screaming as she is dragged away. So Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Champion, and, well, Britt Baker, it all seems to be pointing into a title match at Double or Nothing at the moment. Well, folks, once again, it's been quite the rollercoaster ride here tonight, and we still have the contract signing between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley to come, plus that big main event between the Lucha Brothers and of Death Triangle and the Good Brothers of the Elite, or Bullet Club, whatever they're going as. Looking to next week, though, as announced, the three will take on Private Party in a huge 6-man tag. Just announced, Darby Allin will face Matt Hardy in the Men's Casino Ladder Match qualifier, and Thunder Rosa will fight it out for a place in the Women's Casino Ladder Match against Mickie James, and lots more. We hope you can join us, but for now, let's take it to Tony Schiavone, who is standing by for this contract signing. The ring is dressed up with red velvet on the canvas and a table placed in the middle with Tony Schiavone standing by. As he says, "Okay, folks, it's now time for the contract signing to make the match at Double or Nothing between Moxley and Omega for the AEW World Championship official." So, without further ado, let's bring out champion and challenger. Moxley's music hits, but after a while, there is no sign of him. Then Kenny Omega arrives, dressed smartly, wearing his aviators alongside Don Callis, with huge grins on their face. Once in the ring, Schiavone says, "Well, gents, we can't begin until Moxley is here," and Omega takes the mic and says, "Come on, Tony, you're not that dumb, are you? Did you not see what happened last week to John? He ain't here tonight. He's back home once again, having little old Renee nursing him." Callis can be heard saying, "Yeah, I bet." So we carry on with another segment. Kenny Omega smirks, then continues, "But don't worry, Mox doesn't need to be here to sign this. He already has, in a way. It clearly states in his contract, which he signed a few years back, I know because I saw it, being an EVP and all, that if a tournament should take place during a title reign, the current holder of said championship automatically agrees to place their title on the line against the successful person or persons of said tournament. Lucky me. It is required, though, that as a winner of the tournament, I have to sign these papers, which I'm going to do right now. Kenny opens up the contracts and puts pen to paper. Tony Schiavone says, it's official then. At Double or Nothing in 3 weeks' time at the MGM, it will be Jon Moxley defending his AEW World Championship against Kenny Omega. Callis makes sure everything is in order with the papers. Kenny and Don then laugh amongst themselves and then leave with the contract. What do they have planned? What is up their sleeve? Why are they laughing? Well, we're going to find out soon, aren't we? After the break, both Kenny Omega and Don Callis have taken up seats at the commentary desk ahead of the main event between the Lucha Brothers and the Gub Brothers. Doc and Carl Anderson are in the ring, pointing towards Omega and Callis, who both cheer them on, giving them just that little bit of encouragement. Do they really need it against the Lucha Brothers? We'll find out as we get a 74 from this segment. Don Callis is getting better at his gimmick. Seems to be doing quite well, actually. I thought it was going to be difficult to work him into this story coming from Impact, but no, he seems to be doing all right. And the main event is about that high grade heat and good wrestling. It gets a 73. It's not been, in terms of quality, in terms of segment ratings, it hasn't been the best Dynamite, so I'm expecting quite a poor turnout with the overall show rating, but it is the Good Brothers that go over the Lucha Brothers in 11:48. Carl Anderson pinning Rey Fénix with a handful of tights. During the match, though, we also had MJF run in and attack Penta. He took him off the apron when the ref's back was turned. Fénix couldn't get the tag, and MJF is on the outside smiling after watching the Lucha Brothers lose. Pac races out and grabs MJF from behind, sliding him into the ring. Penta and Rey Fénix stand above him. Pac slides in next behind MJF. It really is a death triangle at the moment. MJF in the middle. He's on his knees. He's pleading. Then Gallows and Anderson slide back into the ring and attack Penta and Fénix from behind. MJF uses this distraction to quickly low blow Pac. Gallows and Anderson beat down Penta and Fénix. MJF hammering away at the head of Pac. Omega and Callis are up on the commentary desk, cheering them all on. Then Jon Moxley's music begins to play to a huge pop from the crowd. As this segment gets a 73, and we're not done there just yet. I think we've got another 2 segments to go. But MJF having a bit of involvement here with Pac. Obviously, with MJF losing that World Title Eliminator Tournament, Pac wants MJF now at Double or Nothing. Will it go ahead, though? We'll have to wait and see what happens in the next segment. Let's find out. Kenny Omega gets to his feet and anticipates the arrival of Jon Moxley through the crowd. Instead, Jon Moxley comes bursting out the entrance tunnel and flies at Kenny Omega. It's a wild beatdown by Moxley, the commentary team having to move out of the way. Moxley grabs a steel chair and drives it into Kenny's midsection. Then, to his back, Callis is going berserk. He calls for Gallows and Anderson, and it's not long before they come to the aid of Kenny Omega. Gallows and Anderson prove too much for Jon Moxley. They beat him down. Kenny Omega finally recovers, then grabs that steel chair and slams it into Mox's midsection. Omega drags Mox over to the commentary desk with evil intentions in mind. Then what's this? Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, come out and say to Kenny, he's had enough. Dax and Cash then attack the Young Bucks from behind. It's breaking down into utter chaos here on Dynamite. Matt and Nick Jackson go at it with Dax and Cash, trading fists, challengers against champions there. Then Hangman Page walks out. He almost looks like he has a decision to make. He stands for a moment watching it unfold, then turns to Kenny Omega, who is stood behind Gallows and Anderson. Their first eye-to-eye since Page turned on Omega back at Full Gear last year. in this save. Paige then bursts forwards and helps Dax and Cash. Omega watches on with wide eyes. MJF also helps out Paige, Dax and Cash. Gallows and Anderson eventually pull the Young Bucks away and they begin to leave. Jon Moxley is hurt, sat up against the commentary desk. He mocks a half-arsed gun, but I want to go with a middle finger there at Omega. Pac is on his knees in the ring, watching on, flanked by Penta and Phoenix. Up on the entranceway stand Paige, Dax and Cash, the tag team champions, and MJF. All four stand together as Dynamite comes to a close. So what does this mean? Is MJF aligning with the 3 to make 4? You guys are going to have to wait and find out. And oh dear, a 70. That's a massive drop compared to the last couple of weeks in overall show rating. A 70, I mean, still pretty respectable, but a 70 should have been a lot better. I mean, when you think last week's was about 76, was it? And then the week before we was getting we was up towards the 80s, and now we've just massively dropped off here down to the 70s. But I felt as though the matches were the right decision to make. Obviously, if I'm putting the likes of Moxley and Omega in I don't want to be putting them in matches every week just to get that overall rating. It's all about trying to tell the story now, because we're 3 weeks out from Double or Nothing, which I want to be the biggest show of the year. So I'm just going to take this one on the chin. I'm just going to bite the bullet and just, I'm happy with the direction all stories have gone in after this show. I'm not too disappointed by that 70. Let's go and see how we've done up against NXT. So we got a 70 this week. We scored just a 2.0 TV rating, drawing in 1.5 million viewers. Over on the All Elite Network, we had 285,000 watching. It's a massive drop compared to last week's. And over on TNT, we had 880,000 tuning in. Let's have a look at NXT then. I'm expecting them to have beaten us this week in all areas. 74, they haven't beaten us by that much, to be fair. They have with viewership. They managed to draw in 1.56 million viewers, whereas their show rating isn't that much. I mean, looking at their main event, the Rising Tide, Killian Dane and Tommaso Ciampa teaming up, I think those two are just constantly in their main event, and they keep using Triple H as an interview, but it's just not working for them. They always keep getting a 68, 69 for him. It's just all about match quality. As you can see, those 3 final matches of the evening for NXT, scoring 74, 73, 84. It went a long way in beating AEW this week. Anyway, that is it for Dynamite. I will see you all for the next episode of Dark. We are getting ever closer to Double or Nothing. You don't want to miss an episode. Thanks for watching.